Good morning, everyone. Matt does send his apologies. Unfortunately, this week has clashed with our first results presentation as being a listed public company. So the business started 13 years ago by Damien Waller, who's our current executive chairman, and Dr. David Apani. They started the business above a paint shop in Port Melbourne with 8 staff. And how the business started, Damien one day broke his arm and actually said, I've got to find some health insurance. He was a young guy, about 30, and found it quite complex. Oops. And so he decided at that point, how do I make this simpler? There's got to be an easier way for consumers than going to every branch back then, so you had to go in and actually talk to someone. And that's what really spurred the idea of iSelect on. 13 years on, here we are. We listed on June 24th as a public company, and we're now the largest single employer in the Bayside area. So we have over 450 staff. So as many people as in this room, and we continue to grow. So I was just talking to the Mayor. We moved into our campus, which is down on Bay Road, about 18 months ago. We used to be on South and Nepean. We moved in at South and Nepean with 80 staff. We moved out with 330 staff. We built the new facility and said, this will last us for 5 or 6 years, this will be great. This year we're now talking about, geez, we need some more room. We've outgrown the place already. And that's really sort of the theme of what I wanted to share about, and I'll talk to you about consumers in the online world, and how quickly they're changing. And I think for business, certainly in Australia, one of the things that I know at iSelect we constantly underestimate is how quickly consumers have changed, and we're keeping up with them. So they're often moved there, and technology has been the disruptor of that. No, clicker's not working. That was the disclaimer. Now I'm a public company, we have to do that. Private company was a bit different. You may have seen the iSelect advertising around. We tend to bombard TV, we use outdoor, we sponsor the Titans. We do a lot of advertising, and the business has come a long way in those 13 years. But this picture for me really describes how quickly technology is changing the world. And in 2005, so not that long ago, the picture at the top shows a concert. In 2013, now that shows a concert in today's world. What we see is smartphones and people are connected. The number of people sitting in this room that'll have a smartphone within your reach, you've probably got an iPad, you've got a PC, and that's really disrupting how we engage with the consumer. And this is now, it used to be you had a camera, now you just pull out your smartphone and you can capture and share those moments. What does that mean? We're seeing internet usage in Australia really transform. So now there's another, from 5 hours and 42 minutes increase in that period. So over the average time, the average Australian is using the internet. They now use the internet more than they use television. So they're getting their content over the internet. And that's really empowering consumers to help them make decisions. What we're saying, this shows you the global smartphone traffic. It's growing exponentially. And I think that really demonstrates 17% of all the web traffic in the world now goes via a smartphone. And 2 in 3 Australians already have a smartphone. Now we had the guys from Google in our office a couple of weeks ago, and they were talking about where the smartphone penetration is going. It's currently sitting about 66% in Australia, which we predicted would be there at Christmas this year, so we've already exceeded that. Talking to them, they thought now it'll exceed 70%, which is just amazing. And that's really changing the way consumers are engaging. So at iSelect, 80% of our business is actually done call assisted, so 20% is done on the web, which most people find really fascinating. Because you look at us and you think, oh, we're an online business, that's what we are. But the way I describe us, we have the iselect.com.au business and the infochoice.com.au, which is a financial services business. They are 2 shop fronts that the consumer comes and first engages with us. We then, and what we're seeing now in our health business, 18% of all of our visitation, people that come and talk to us, are coming via a smartphone. That's actually changed in 12 months from 10%. So it's nearly doubled in a 12-month period. So, and you think about your own practices. When you used to pick up the yellow pages, you used to search through for a local business. Now you just go to Google and type in what you need. And Google does a wonderful job of going, boom, here's what you need. And that's changing the way businesses, and certainly a company like iSelect, we're one of Google's largest customers. We spend a lot on search engine marketing and that's how we drive a lot of our business. This shows you the online shopping forecast. So the expenditure's predicted to grow to 18.4 billion this year, or 7% of GDP. And we certainly see that now. We're well over $100 million in revenue, growing from those eight staff and starting in Port Melbourne. And consumers are getting a lot more comfortable. So although the improvement in the Aussie dollar saw a large amount of shopping come from overseas, what it also did was teach consumers how to use the internet, how to become comfortable and put it as part of their regular repertoire. And now we're seeing consumers, certainly with the iSelect business, is they will come and research. In health insurance, they spend anywhere up to 12 months in advance researching online and making a decision. 9 in 10 online Australians 18 plus have actually used a comparison service to shop, to compare product, to understand and do that research. We're actually expecting that to increase over the next 12 months. So what's iSelect? We're a supermarket for complex financial products. That's the easiest way to describe us. We have about 128 product partners that we deal with, our suppliers, across a range of products and some of the biggest brands in the country in financial services. And we really help the consumer. The consumers outsource their decision making. So in our health business, we have proprietary patented technology that we built ourselves, which is very rare for an Australian business and certainly someone local in the Bayside. And that takes, as an example, takes 6,500 different product combinations that we stock in health and will help the consumer find the right two. And we will always present, and we're a free service to consumers, we present them with the two options, basically using those algorithms. And it's about cutting that complexity. So the wonderful thing with the internet is given infinite choice. The problem with the internet, it's given infinite choice. And that's where consumers really need services and businesses that can make it simple. Keep it simple for them. I have this problem, and you point the solution. This shows our history. I'll just point out, in 2000 we launched. We made our first profit about here and didn't start advertising until 2006. So 2007 was when we launched our second business. So we started in health insurance. We then went into life insurance, car insurance. We bought the InfoChoice business, which took us into savings, term deposits, investment portfolios, credit card. We then launched our home loans business, so we do full mortgage service. Then broadband, and our latest vertical, which is also our fastest growing vertical, is energy. So we've expanded across a number of businesses, and we'll continue to expand. So one of the great things about starting in a complex business like health was our technology has been built around something very complex. So we can now go into a lot of new businesses, and we continue to expand. We set out to simplify choice for Australian consumers, and they liked us for us. And really from the very early stages right until today, something that Damien's been passionate about has been driving the focus on customer first. And if we drive that focus and we try and find a way to make something simple for a customer, focus on those simple things and exceed their expectations, then they keep coming back to you. Many years ago, because most Australians, and think about it, if you have private health insurance, you only review your health insurance once every 10 years. So that's sort of the cycle that we'd have with a customer. Now we have customers come back and we track it in under a 4-month period. They're buying multiple products for us. And that's really from the 330 staff on the phone that do an unbelievable job of helping customers find the right product. And they make sure that customer service is outstanding. And we spend a lot of time and effort on customer service. 1 in 3 Australians have actually used our service to date. So we did a Nielsen research back in March, which is phenomenal since the business started, especially for a business starting here in Melbourne. Last year we had 8 million Australians visit us. So they actually came via either website. And then we also then went on to do 5.2 million comparisons last year. And as I touched on earlier, 20% of our business is done unassisted on the web. But 80% of it is actually done where a consumer will either call us or we will follow. They'll leave their contact details and we'll follow up and help them. And that's really what we're seeing in every one of our businesses. More and more people ask us the question, but aren't you trying to push it more to the web to cut cost? That only gives a poor customer experience. Actually, people still want to talk to somebody on the phone and say, you know what, I find this really difficult and complex. Can you help me? So giving really great customer service is actually what's made the cornerstone of the success of our business. The iSelect business model, you have and sorry for the complicated chart, the customer calls in or comes in via the web. We actually then have the customer advice centre on Bay Road, so we have the 330 staff that answer it. they'll either follow up with the customer. We do a full needs analysis, so we'll go through and ask them anywhere up to 30 questions to really try and understand their needs. We'll go through and the system will do the product matching based on those needs. And we do that in it can be all done in about 10 minutes. So the matching and understanding your needs and finding the right consultant to talk to the right consumer is done in 0.1 of a second. So some of the technology that we have developed to match and get the right person to speak to is very advanced. And then we find the recommendation, and we actually go right the way through to complete the sale. So when you buy a health insurance policy through us, we issue the member kit on behalf of the health funds. So the health companies don't have to touch it. You'll get your member kit, we'll have used gateways to integrate into their system, and it's a full end-to-end sale. What we do put down is our difference, and a lot of companies talk about people make the difference. Our winning culture is certainly the thing that we really work on hard. And our guys, that's actually a picture of our cafeteria. We have a slide that goes from level 1 down into a ball pit. I have used it. And interestingly, but it gets used every day. So the team, we have, there's sleep pods and massage chairs, and it's a very Google type complex. The reason we do that is the average age of our staff is 27. And we think if you hire exceptionally talented people and then let them enjoy themselves at what they do, focus on helping the customer and enjoy the place that they work, they'll achieve exceptional results. And we're testament to that. We've continued, this year we had a record year again in health insurance, despite some of the challenging government changes to legislation. But that still proved that our people step up and really drive it. So our culture is one thing. We'll have days, and this shows you some photos. They have dress-up days. Actually, my colleague here, Matt Cumming, I saw him dressed up in a tennis costume in January. The guys are encouraged to really be themselves and come to work. We employ the whole person, and we employ not just here's the work person and here's the stuff you have at home. We actually encourage them to be ourselves, because what's unique is we really try and match. And you think about a party. You go to a party and you meet two people, and for some reason you connect with one person and you don't with another. And the technology we have and some of the questions, we'll ask a series of questions at the start of a call, and it's a live answer, so it's not press 1, press 2, press 473. It's actually, we'll ask you a series of questions, and based on that, we then determine who you're more likely to be able to talk to and therefore help. And we divert that call to a group of consultants that actually will help you in that process. So, and that's really why culture is important to us, because we've got to make sure that our team are on their best every day, they're having fun and they're enjoying what they do. We do 4 things, and we put down our pillars of success. We have disruptive marketing, so you've probably seen an iSelect ad with Mr. iSelect, either in his gym gear or at the train station or eating chips, and we have a bit of fun. And why do we do that? Because the products we sell are boring. and our partners, they really often can't, Commonwealth Bank probably, or Bank of Melbourne, doesn't want to get out there and say, hey, we're Mr. iSelect, because you're there for trust, you're there for security. Whereas we can play that role. We can have a bit of fun and we can say, you know what, health insurance doesn't have to be boring, it doesn't have to be complex. Come and talk to us. So we spent last year well over $30 million on marketing. And we do those ads to really be disruptive and get you to think it. And we've got to shake you off the couch. We've got to get you to really think about the products that we're selling. Our lead generation, once a customer's in, we then really focus on how do we help that customer find the products that they need. What we talk about is conversion. So we track every bit of data in the organisation. We track since the day we opened. We still have it to today. And we know why you've come in. And it sounds a little bit Big Brother, but that data is invaluable to giving really good customer service. So the more we can capture that data, and even if that, and I encourage you, even if you're capturing it in an Excel spreadsheet, and some of us still use pens and paper, that information is valuable. And if you're using it with how can we help the customer better? How can we find a better way to serve them? How can we find a quicker way to do it? In our mortgage businesses, which is one of our newest businesses, the average time from talking to us to a settlement was taking us 3 months, and that was in for some of our refinance. We've just got 2 of our banks to agree to do that in under 10 days, and that's what we really do. We try and crunch the process and use technology to serve the customer quicker and find it, because you think about it, you actually don't want to deal with a mortgage broker or the bank, you just want it in your home. And that's what we try and do. Find a way you just want to get your health insurance. You really don't want to find out and know all the details and read all the financial disclosure documents. You just want to know what the right one is and am I covered? Can I move on? And we have unbelievably good relationships with our product providers. We spend a lot of time with them. We make sure that we understand their needs, and then we talk to them about what our customer needs are. We'll build on that. We'll spend more. We'll probably increase our marketing this year by at least another $8 million in the coming year. And we continue to do that. And that's a combination of both what you call traditional, so television and billboard sponsorship. But we spend a lot of money on search engine marketing. So with Google, likes of Google and Yahoo, they do like us. So that's a little bit about the business. I do have to apologise that Matt couldn't make it, but I also wanted to say, to make up for the apologies, and hopefully I've given you a bit of an overview. If anyone wants to switch their health insurance this week at iSelect, what we'll do to make up for the fact that Matt couldn't do it was we'll do a $50 Myer voucher. So if you do need help with your health insurance, call 13 19 20. Ring through, test this out. I'd love to hear on what the experience, and just mention the Bayside Business Network, and I'll make sure our team sends you out a $50 Coles Myer gift voucher. So thanks very much for your time.